and we're getting near to the end of the witching hour on day 24, and well, we've managed to successfully turn the ship back up the right way, which wasn't easy because it is quite heavy now. There's a lot of resin in there, so I've completely kind of rehashed the shipyard, so this end of the room is now fairly clear. So this is the base frame of the aft section of the ship. There's quite a bit more work to do on that, but I'm actually feeling a bit more positive now. I've started on it. It's a bit more free reign than the main hull, because on here everything had to work, everything had to align perfectly. It had to be structurally sound because it's so heavy because of all the resin. Now the back section will be quite light and doesn't really have any moving parts apart from the albatross hanger, so I'm feeling a bit more positive about it. I've got some guide shots from the CAD down there, some dimensions and stuff like that, so I'm feeling alright, feeling quite awake at the moment. So I'm going to carry on as day 24 merges into day 25, and I'm sure I'll talk again tomorrow. Probably be a bit more tired than I am now though. So it's well into day 25. I survived the night. Did stay up all night in the end. Been pretty tired today, to be honest, so I'm going home early today for some sleep. Much needed. But I've got quite a lot done. I've got the two engine housings done. The framework anyway. They were extremely difficult to do because I had to work out exactly how they would fit around the rest of the ship and exactly how they'd go in relation to everything else. Kind of hard to show you really, but you get the idea. I've also been working on the spine as well, done a lot on that. This is actually aluminium reinforced on the inside, so it's extremely solid and very rigid. Quite important because there's this long protruding piece here, which if there's any kind of warping at all caused by spraying, then it's going to be obvious, so it's important that it's very rigid. We've also got the escape pods, or some of the escape pods. This is the part of the ship where the infantry would stay, so the bulk of the ship's complement when it's on a combat mission would be staying there, so that's where most of the escape pods are up there. At the moment I'm in the process of adding some lighting to the top section here. This is the observation deck, which I was on about ages ago. I'm finally getting onto it. These lights are going to run all the way along here, around the front and around the other side. I'm then going to put a frosted sheet of plastic on top of that and then drill through some of the plating to allow some light through, so it'll look like there's loads of tiny lights. At least that's the idea anyway. I'm going to see how well that works as I go. So carry on. Good to know. Okay, so it's first thing in the morning on day 26. A little bit more refreshed after a good sleep, and it's now, well, it's crunch time really, because today is the last day that everybody's up here, and then tomorrow everybody else will be going to the Excel to set up for salute, and I won't be. I imagine I'll still be here working on this, probably through the night. You know, every year for salute I say, this year I will be ready. I'll have a good sleep the night before the show, but I haven't had one yet, and I probably never will. So there you go. Obviously at the moment it's a very long way from being anything like finished. It's obvious at this stage that it won't be painted for the show, not fully. I mean, we've got the bottom deck painted and that looks cool, and you can see what the rest of it will be like when it's painted. It's better at the moment. I'm just focusing on completing the build. Fortunately, no more parts need to be painted before assembly. All the rest of it can be built and then it can all be painted afterwards. That couldn't happen with the bottom deck. It all had to be painted while it was made. So that makes things a little easier. There's a little bit less to do than there looks. I've built the engine housings for the back here, and they all need cladding and things like that. Obviously the engines are already built. The small auxiliary thrusters, they're all painted next door and they're finished. All the Condor carriages, Condors, Sabres, tanks, bears, everything, they're well on the way to being finished next door. So in theory later on today I'll get them ready, done, and just stick them in, which doesn't take very long. So that's okay. Then the prow is fairly straightforward. I say that, but it's not even begun yet. Doesn't even exist in any way. So I've got my work cut out for me. There's no more wiring. I've done the last of the wiring. It's just laying up parts now. But I've basically got 2 days to get this thing to look like a spaceship, or look like a finished-ish spaceship. We've got another show the week after Salute, so next week I'll finish the paint job and things like that. Yeah, it's a shame, and it's a little bit gutting that it's not finished after all this work and effort. You know, last week I don't think I've ever worked as many hours in a week as I did last week. It was like 6 17-hour days followed by an all-nighter. Now, I've never done that before. I'm no stranger to doing big hours, but that was pretty silly. Last night, I fell asleep in my chair before going home. It was definitely time to go back for a sleep, but I feel a lot better today, so I'm going to crack on and hopefully finish the build. Or at least my plan today is to get the aft section finished. Well, mostly finished. And then tomorrow I can concentrate on the prow and put the condors in and all those last minute jobs. Well, not that this whole thing is a last minute job now, but anyway, I better shut up and get on with it.